Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be coming to you with a new video. This is obviously something that has been done before, but I want to make it one of my New Year's resolutions with reading to get through some rereads, because there are so many books that I have read and I've absolutely adored, and I've just never read them again because I have so many other books on my shelf that I want to get to, and obviously so many books come out each month, so they just get pushed further and further and back. So what I am going to try and do this year is I have compiled a list of 12 books that I want to reread, and each month when I do my TBR, I am going to be taking one of them out of this little Harry Potter mug that I have. I put all of them, written all of them on a piece of paper, if you can kind of see, yeah, there you go. I wrote all of them, I don't even know what the right word to say is. I put all of them down on a piece of paper and I put them into this mug. So each month that I will be taking one out, and that will then be included in my TBR for the month. The 12 books that I want to get to this month, let's get into them now. The first book that I want to reread in 2019 is Far From the Tree by Robin Benway. I absolutely adored this book. This was definitely a 5 out of 5 stars. It is based on 3 siblings who were fostered, and Jake Quinn was not. He was always in the system, always in and out of foster families, and the 2 sisters have now been adopted, I believe, and it's based on the main character of Grace and her sister Maya and her brother Jake Quinn, and Grace gives up her baby for adoption, and it then makes her want to find her mother, and in finding her mother, her real mother, she discovers that she has 2 siblings, and it's just an amazing book about family, about the secrets, and it's just lovely just to see their characters grow, and yeah, it's an amazing book. I loved it. So this is definitely one that I want to read this year. The next book that I want to read is Turtles All the Way Down by John Green. When I first read this book, I didn't really love it, and I wanted to love it, and so many people have loved it, and I love every other John Green book. I am a real fan of his writing, so I want to give it a second chance, and I want to kind of see whether I still have the same opinion the second time, or whether I changed my opinion and maybe I just wasn't in the best place to read it at the time that I did, and maybe I'll love it even more the second time. So I'm really looking forward to this one. It has raises issues of mental health. The main character, I can't remember her name, Aza, 16-year-old Aza, never intended to pursue the mystery of fugitive billionaire Russell Pickett, but there's a $100,000 reward at stake, and her best and most fearless friend Daisy is eager to investigate. So his son Davis is actually in Aza's class, so it's quite awkward that they're discovering how his father's gone missing. There's a reward at the end of it, and also Aza deals with massive mental health issues in the book, and it is highlighted really well. So I am really excited to pick this one back up again. And my next book is Looking for Alaska, yet again by John Green. I read this book ages and ages ago, and I loved it at the time, but I don't know whether that, like the Turtles All the Way Down, I don't know if my thoughts are going to have changed, and I really want to kind of see whether they have. This book is based on the character of Alaska Young, and she meets Miles, and Miles falls in love with her basically, and I'm pretty sure that Alaska goes missing. I can't remember the ins and outs of this book, but I do know that I did love it when I picked it up for the first time, so I'm hoping that I love it just as much as I did the second time. The next book that I want to pick up is The Forgetting Time by Sharon Guskin. I read this book way before I started BookTube, and I absolutely loved it. It's based on the character of Noah, and he also remembers being I think it's like 11-year-old or 10-year-old named Tommy, but he's actually only 4, and he's constantly saying that he wants to go home and he wants to see his mum. And it's basically, you get all of like these different cases through the book that the writers put in, where children have kind of grown up and they've got to the age of like 3 or 4, and they remember every detail of someone else's life that they would never have met before because they are halfway across the world. And it's just really interesting, and it's trying to get to the bottom of who Tommy is when he's actually Noah. So it's a really interesting book, and I'm excited to get to this one again. And on to the next book. This is the only book that I will not be pulling out of the jar and I will just be going ahead and rereading. And that is Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson. The second one in the series, The Vanishing Stair, I believe comes out in January. So this is going to be my first priority read of 2019, and I want to get this reread in before The Vanishing Stair comes out, so that when I then do get my pre-order, I then am up to date with the story and I remember everything that happens. So this book is a YA mystery thriller based on the character of Stevie Bell, and she basically goes to the Ellingham Academy and she wants to discover what happened to Albert Ellingham's wife and daughter when they went missing about 100 years ago and their bodies were recovered, I believe. So yeah, I really want to get to this one because I absolutely loved it, and it was definitely one of my favourite books of all time that I read, and I'm so excited for the sequel to come out and find out what actually happens with Albert Ellingham's case. So very, very excited for this one. My next reread of 2019 is I'll Give You the Sun by Jandy Nelson. I love Jandy Nelson's books and I loved I'll Give You the Sun. It was probably one of my favourite books of all time, and I think that it might even have been in that video. I can't really remember, but I did absolutely adore this book. This book is based on the characters of Jude and Noah, and they are twin siblings, and it goes between times of when I think that they were like 13 and then 16, and it goes between their two different perspectives and how they're feeling at that time. This book was just amazing, and it's uncovering what happened to ruin their relationship with each other. They were very, very close when they were younger, and now that you see that when they're older, that's perspective in the book, they are not as close anymore and they barely even talk to each other. So it's very, very interesting to know what happened between those years, and you learn that during the story. So love this book and I'm very excited to pick it up again. The next book is One of Us is Lying by Karen McManus. This book is based on the 4 different characters of Bronwyn, Cooper, Nate and Addie, and basically their classmate dies in detention, and it's all about discovering kind of how he died and what happened, and because they were the last 4 people to be with him when he was alive, they're then kind of the main culprits of the murder. So it's all about finding out what actually happened to him, and yeah, it was a very, very exciting book. I absolutely love mysteries, and this was definitely up there with my favourite mysteries of all time. So I do really want to read this again. The only problem that I feel that you have with rereading mysteries is that you already know who's done it and how it happened. But I do kind of want to reread it again and see whether I can kind of like work it out as I go along, rather than just find out at the end, and kind of seeing whether that there was any secrets in there that I didn't understand at the time, but now I do. So I'm very excited to reread this. The next book is People Like Us by Dana Mealy. This is a YA mystery and I absolutely fell in love with this. I read this in a good couple of days, and when I finished I just sat there and didn't know what to do with myself. I have kissed this book so many times and I've just been dancing like this like the whole time. I absolutely loved this book and I can't recommend it enough. It is based on a boarding school, and basically it's like these like 6 best friends, and they're kind of like the most popular girls in the school, and then someone's body is found in a lake and it looks like that it's been suicide, and it actually isn't, and the murder is kind of being blamed on the main character. It's all about finding out and her trying to defend her honour and make sure that she knows that she's not guilty, and trying to prove that she isn't guilty. So this book I just absolutely fell in love with, and I want to reread it now, but I'm gonna have to wait, so very excited. Next is The Tattooist of Auschwitz by Heather Morris. This book is based on Auschwitz, obviously, and it is based on the character of Lael, and he is the tattooist. So every time a new Jewish person comes into the camp, he has to tattoo with ink their number on their arm, and Lael also falls in love with Gita, who is in the camp as well, and because that Lael is the tattooist of the camp, he does get privileges, which most of those is to see Gita, and it is based on a true story, which makes it even more heartwarming, and it's just amazing. I absolutely love this book. I recommended it to so many people, and so many people have read it and enjoyed it just as much as I did. So I'm very excited to pick this one up again. Next is The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. Yellow sprayed pages. Yeah, I now have 2 copies. I absolutely adored this book the first time round. I only read it about a month ago, and I did really, really love it. It's like a 400 and something page book, and I literally read it in a couple of days, which is probably the quickest I've ever read this big of a book. This book is based on the character of Star, and her best friend Khalil gets shot by a white police officer, and it's all about getting justice for Khalil and basically putting the police officer behind bars. But that doesn't happen, and it's just such a gorgeously written book. It is amazing. Angie Thomas really does portray these characters and this justice for black people really, really well, and I absolutely loved it. Well, not justice for black people, injustice, I guess, and how horrible people treat them and how they're kind of second-class citizens, which should not be how it is at all. So I did love this book, and I'm very, 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 very excited to read it again. And the last two books that I want to reread in 2019 are both Benjamin Alire Sands books, and that is The Inexplicable Logic of My Life and Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe. I was recommended this book a couple of years ago by my gorgeous friend Yasmin, and she absolutely adored it, and I adored it as well. And The Inexplicable Logic of My Life is his second book, or maybe they were the other way around, I'm not sure. But they are both beautifully written books, and both explore the LGBT community and kind of the love that gay people can have, and it's not wrong of them to. So they're just both absolutely beautiful books, and I know so many people who love them and so many people who love his writing. So I'm very excited to get to these two. I can't wait. That is it for this video. So like I said, I will be taking books out of this mug each month for 2019. 12 books, 12 months, one reread per month. Obviously, like I said, apart from the first month, in January, I will be reading True Devious in preparation for The Vanishing Stair to come out. So I am then completely up to date with the series. But then following that, each month on, there will be a book that I will be pulled out of this mug in my TBR for that month. And yeah, I'm just really excited to get to these rereads. I have wanted to do this for a while, but the thing is, I can't reread books all the time, otherwise I'm never going to discover anything new, and I have so many books on this bookshelf. If I just sat there and reread all of the books that I have already read, I will never get through anyone. So any books, not anyone. So I thought if I limit myself to kind of one a month, then at least I can, you know, get through a few. So very excited for this. So I hope that you've enjoyed this video, and I will see you again soon. Bye.